Because you might be stuck in this crab mentality right now because you're seeking validations from other crabs, and they're going to hold you back and it's not even about you. It's not about like them now wanting you to be successful. It's about them realizing that if you become successful, they will feel horrible about their life because they stayed back. So then every crab kind of just stays in the same mentality and nobody actually improves. Nobody really feels bad because it's kind of like, yeah, you're fat, I'm fat, auntie's fat, uncle is fat, everybody's fat. Hi, my name is Moe Ghias. Essentially, I'm a kid who's obsessed with winning. Hello. Welcome to Healthy Systems Podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Coach Moe. And today's episode is truly a healthy system. And I genuinely mean it just because last whole week I've been thinking about this. I was at a conference in Nashville and one of the speakers gave a talk on this when it comes to life and success. And he said, nothing moves without this one thing. And essentially the whole point of this episode is to talk more about map of consciousness. So if you've never heard about David Hawkins' map of consciousness, I'll dive more into that. And then I'll talk more about this one thing, which is courage. And far too often, courage doesn't get the credit that it deserves. And after looking at all of my accomplishments in life and whatever little success I've had, I just noticed courage was the one muscle and it was the one thing that showed up through and through that helped me the most, because without courage, nothing changes because you won't be able to take that leap of faith. Matter of fact, if you're a person of faith, courage comes from God and you can rely on your faith to make you more courageous. But far too often, I think even we underutilize our faith as well. You know what I mean? We go to the church, we go to the mosque, we do the religious practices, but often we don't rely on God to be like, God, I'm going to have faith on you. Because when you have faith on God, you have courage, right? You have courage to make tough decisions. You're a little fearless. But far too often, courage is the one missing ingredient that keeps people stuck, not only in their finances, not only in jobs they hate, but also in their fitness. And I'll talk more about that because this last week I've had a lot of conversations, even with my own fitness clients or people that wanted to become clients. And I noticed this was the one thing that some of them were missing. And then it just got me reflecting and the conference in Nashville, this talk. So today's episode will be a banger. So let's dive into it. You see, far too often, most people think that success starts with discipline. Success starts with being motivated. Success starts with hard work. Success starts with all these features that you would ascribe success to, right? But the truth is nothing, and I mean nothing happens without courage, right? So far too often, if you see somebody that is working just as hard as you, has similar education as you, but they're just succeeding more than you and they're just crushing it and they're just leveling up constantly, maybe the one skill they have that you need to develop is courage. Because courage allows them to pivot faster. Courage allows them to try harder. Courage allows them to not be afraid of failure, right? Versus you might be currently paralyzed by a lack of courage and being overwhelmed by fear. So in this episode, I'm going to break down David Hawkins' map of consciousness and why the energy of courage is actually the threshold that changes everything. So we'll tie it in with one of the greatest quotes from Winston Churchill and a lot of real life examples that you can relate to, especially when it comes to your health, wealth, fitness, and the courage to actually go first and start. So let's talk about part one of the podcast, which is who was David Hawkins and what is the map of consciousness? So Dr. David Hawkins was a renowned psychiatrist and spiritual teacher and researcher in consciousness studies. So obviously he was an MD and PhD, right? So he was known for bridging science, psychology, and spirituality together. Matter of fact, I think besides the religious figures, he was one of the only scientists that really did this well. And it took him like 30 plus years to really combine all of this. I think his book, Power versus Force or Letting Go, they weren't released until he was in his 60s. So okay, imagine this person who's, MD, PhD, super well educated, and he's trying to think through these like map of consciousness because he's studied psychiatrist and he's trying to bridge spirituality and all of these together. So the map of consciousness that he developed, and it was released in one of his books, what it means is if you Google it, it'll make more sense. So just Google the map of consciousness by David Hawkins. But basically what it is it's a scale from 0 to 1,000, measuring different levels of human consciousness, right? And every level is associated with specific emotion, specific belief, and behaviors. Okay. So all the levels, so imagine a scale from 0 to 1,000. The levels that are below 200, they're weakening, they're draining, they contract you, right? They are things like shame, guilt, apathy, fear, etc. Those are the levels that are below 200. And then you have levels above 200. And these are emotions and beliefs that are empowering, actually. So you have on the bottom, you have the ones that just slow you down, the ones that are draining, right? Guilt, all of that. But the ones above 200 are empowering. They strengthen you, they expand you. These are things like love, joy, peace, courage, etc. And the crazy thing is, below 200, above 200, very different worlds, right? So courage is at 200 exactly. So just like I started the podcast by saying courage is very important. So he talks about all the emotions that are below courage are the negative ones, and all the ones that are above courage, above 200, they're actually like very empowering and strengthening. So courage is at 200, and it's the turning point. It's the one thing that changes your life from like, just being shameful, guiltful, and fearful to courage, love, joy, peace. So you just got to remember that threshold is courage. And courage is the difference between what he says, surviving and thriving, right? So in the bottom, you have emotions that are just, surviving. And on the top, you have emotions where you're going to be thriving. And everything below 200 is reactive and fear-based, but everything above 200 is creative and is purpose-driven, right? So that's the map of consciousness. And the thing is, courage, if you just look at map of consciousness, you realize how important courage is, right? Because it's the one thing that's the threshold. It's the jumping thing, right? It's the thing where you can jump from surviving to thriving if you just have one key emotion or one key quality, which is courage. So most people, when it comes to courage, they know what to do. For example, when it comes to fitness, they're like, yeah, man, I just need to eat healthy. I just need to move more. And it's like, it sounds super simplistic. It's often not this simple. There's a lot of science and a lot of layers that go into it. That's why like often oversimplicity can also like be hurtful because you might not get anywhere. But let's even take the basics, right? Most people know they need to eat better, move more, speak up, take action. They need to work harder, etc. But they're always stuck in fear. They're stuck in comfort, and they're stuck in the social pressures of life, which often holds them back. But Winston Churchill has a really good quote about courage. He says, courage is rightly esteemed the first of human qualities, because it is the quality which guarantees all others. Because without courage, you can't be honest. Without courage, you can't be loyal. Without courage, you can't be empowered. All of those things. Loyalty, integrity. You can't be a person of integrity without having courage. You can't even tell the truth. We always say always tell the truth. Without courage, you can't even tell the truth, right? So even Winston Churchill, he even said that it is the first of human qualities, because without it, nothing else, none of the other qualities can come to reality. So without courage, you won't be consistent. Without courage, you won't hire a coach. Without courage, you won't even take the first step. And without courage, you won't risk being seen. So you end up staying stuck. You end up staying the same. So I'll give you some more real world examples. So for example, if you're in a family where nobody is genuinely that healthy, right? Everybody's struggling. Nobody really pays attention to their health. Everybody's overweight. And, with our parents and family, we're often like, we don't say things like that, but when your parents are healthy or they're not. When your parents are exercising versus they're not, right? So if you're the first one in your family and you find yourself being 40, 50, 60 pounds overweight in today's world, which is so common, and you're like, man, I know I need to hire a personal trainer, but let me go ask my mom. But it's like, bro, your mom is out of shape. Why would she tell you to hire a trainer, right? So you're often, instead of looking internally and looking for courage from within, you're asking for validation from others. You're borrowing courage from others, and they won't give it to you because they've never been there, right? Just like Rumi said, when you're setting out on a journey, do not ask for direction from people who have never left home, right? You see all these medals behind me? I'm the first one in my family to ever do fitness or compete in powerlifting or compete in physique competitions or run races, right? So whenever I was about to sign up for these things, do you think I went and asked my parents or my family, like, hey, should I do this or how should I do this? Hell no. I had this realization even at a young age that they don't know. They've never been there. They've never built a business. They've never had a podcast. They've never signed up for powerlifting competitions. So why would I ask them for advice? They've never done it. I love them. They have great intention. I love them to freaking death. But it's just, they've never done it. So why would I ask them for validation, especially if I can afford it myself? So at the end of the day, courage. Hiring a personal trainer is going to take some courage. But once you have that courage, now you're going to go from surviving in life and just doing the bare minimum to thriving. And you'll be able to access a whole new world. But that threshold from the old world to the new world is going to be courage. When I started my business, I didn't ask any of my family members because 99% of my family members work for somebody else. They work at a job. So I'm like, they won't understand. You know what I mean? They will just tell me to work harder in my current job. And I was already doing that. But it's just their advice wouldn't work for me. I needed courage. I still remember you can ask me, like, if we were grabbing coffee or something, you can ask me, like, the moments in my life that took courage. And I can lay out the dates and the times over the last 12 years. Every single decision that, since the age of 18 to now that I'm 30, every single decision that took courage. You know what I mean? And not every single one went as planned, but I still learned a lot. And they were the best things to do at the time. You know what I mean? So being the first in your family to take your health seriously takes courage. Going against cultural norms takes courage. Starting a new habit takes courage. Without courage, the plan doesn't matter. But with courage, even a flawed plan would work. Okay? Even a bad plan would work with courage. But without courage, no matter how good the plan is, none of this works. So most people, they live in environments. So here's what's going to hold you back. Okay? It's important to know what can hold you back more than even the things that can help you. Because holding you back, that's a very strong pull. So there's things like most people, for example, they live in environments that are filled with crab mentality, right? These are moments. There are going to be moments in life when you start to rise. And I'm telling you, people will pull you back. And it sounds so cliche in the personal development world. I got my haters. No, I'm not talking about your haters. I'm talking about your lovers that will still hold you back. Okay? So people will say like, hey, why are you eating that? You don't need to lose weight. Why are you going to the gym? You're fine the way you are. Oh my God, you're so obsessed with fitness. It's not that deep. Just enjoy some life with us, right? And I'm telling you, courage is going to be that voice that's going to help you. Courage is how you silence that noise and move away and do what you think is best, right? So far too often, we lack the courage and then we end up just losing momentum. We end up losing the progress because we think, man, these people love me. They don't want the worst for me. But it's the crab mentality. The crabs want other crabs to stay in the bucket. So even if one crab is trying to escape the bucket, the other crabs hold it back. Read up on it, by the way, because you might be stuck in this crab mentality right now because you're seeking validations from other crabs and they're going to hold you back and it's not even about you. It's not about like them now wanting you to be successful. It's about them realizing that if you become successful, they will feel horrible about their life, because they stayed back. So then every crab kind of just stays in the same mentality and nobody actually improves. Nobody really feels bad because it's kind of like, yeah, you're fat, I'm fat, auntie's fat, uncle is fat, everybody's fat, right? We're all going to stay there. But there comes a generational, somebody that can break that generational curse. And that person must have courage, because without courage, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay. You won't be able to escape the crab mentality. You just won't. Courage in fitness. I see this a lot, right? You don't need to be perfect to start, but you need to be brave. To start your fitness journey, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be brave. And I think far too often, you all be thinking, I just need more motivation. I just need more discipline. I need this. I just need to take it more seriously. And I'm like, you don't have a plan. You don't know what you're doing. You've never been in shape in your life. You're surrounded by people that are out of shape. How the hell is it about how the hell is this about consistency? Bro, you're just... It's the wrong thing you're looking at, and you're beating yourself over it. What you need is a plan, a trainer, an expert, a coach guiding you, somebody checking in on you every week, keeping you accountable, all of that, right? But you won't make that jump because you're like, my mom never had a trainer. My auntie never had a trainer. Nobody in my family has had a trainer. And I'm like, yeah, are they in the best shape of their lives? You know what I mean? Are they award-winning fitness specialists? No. So if you want the same life they did, do the same things they did. But you want something different. You want health. You want to be in shape. You want to change the trajectory of your life. You're not happy with 30, 40, 50 pounds of being overweight, right? So have the courage. to book that first call. Have the courage to reach out to a coach or an expert. Reach out to me. Hell, we'll talk to you all day, right? Show up to the workouts. Eat differently from everyone at the table. Like, make some changes. Not always, but like, make some changes. And then be the only one waking up early so you can get the workout done. Matter of fact, that was the one thing I used to do a lot. I'm like, man, in the evening, I just like, my family just has too much going on and I just can't. And then it looks too, I feel bad leaving, being like, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym. It just tests me too much. Whereas if I just wake up an hour early, I can just go to the gym and nobody stops me. Nobody does anything. And I can still get in the best shape of my life without, you know what I mean, pissing off like other family members. So you can definitely escape the crab mentality, because courage is not the absence of fear. It's taking action despite fear, right? And remember, courage is that threshold on the map of consciousness. It's the one thing, it's the quality that puts you from surviving to thriving, from low vibration emotions like guilt, shame, you know what I mean, things like that, to things that are actually empowering, strengthening, love, joy, empowerment, all of those things. So my final message on this is the quality of your life will rise or fall based on your courage, not your education, not your income, not your followers on social media. It's your courage. I'm telling you. And this is an area I need to work on a lot more, because I live in this world where I see a lot of people that move very fast and they're able to take action very fast. And I hang out with them and I'm like, man, how is this person just getting so much more done? How are they able to build a few different businesses and have a few different streams of income, or they're able to stay in great shape and have a great marriage and have everything? And now it's starting to really click over the last couple of weeks. It's the courage. They have the courage to just go. Just go. They just go. They don't wait. They're not held back by 10 years of schooling that taught them to ask for permission if they wanted to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? They're not programmed like that. They were programmed to just get an idea, let's put a team together and let's go to work. You know what I mean? And I think the more of us that can operate like that, the better off it will be. You know what I mean? And if you're the first in your family, your circle, or your culture to take your health more seriously, to start a business, to go into an untraditional path or a career, remember, you're not just changing your life. If you have the courage to do this, you'll change your entire legacy. Okay? So remember this. This is going to be good. If you like this episode, DM me the word courage on Instagram, or just let me know that this Healthy Systems podcast resonated with you. And yeah, share it with one of your friends or with one of your family members, because I think more people need to hear this, because courage doesn't get enough credit. You know, on social media, you have people talking about discipline and motivation and all those other fancy things. But I think courage is really that one thing that changes it all. So I hope this helps. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Systems podcast. I really appreciate you for tuning in today. Now, here are 2 ways I can help you for free. One, you can join our free Facebook community by just going to this link, bit.ly/Titan Facebook group. Just type that into your browser and then answer 2 questions, and then we'll let you into our Facebook community where you'll meet other people, as well as we have a lot of free resources in terms of meal plans, workouts, all kinds of stuff in there. Second way I can help you for free is if you follow me on Instagram at Moe Ghias, MOE, G as in George, H as in horse, I as in India, A as in apple, S as in Sam. Follow me there and then shoot me a message with the word Healthy Systems, and then I'll be sure to send you a free gift. Other than that, keep listening in, and I really appreciate you.